Sources: U.S. Soccer. Summon Fox in preliminary talks about tournament with World Cup outcasts. His defensive tactics would have been a surprise if it weren't so deeply ingrained in what Honduras does. The team all but applied for a trademark on a defensive, physical style of play that relied on center-backs Maynor Figueroa and Johnny Palacios to keep opponents from challenging veteran goalkeeper Donny Escobar. It resulted in plenty of fouls, lots of frustration for opponents and a fourth-place finish in the final round of CONCACAF World Cup qualification after a slow start. What that ignores is that when Honduras has come out and played football, it's gone pretty well. The final match day required 3 points, and Honduras went out and got it with a 3-2 victory over Mexico. The style was still mostly closed but allowed Alberth and Ramon Guayoto to get at Mexico wide on the counterattack. Each player scored in the triumph as Honduras stayed alive in World Cup qualification. Once November rolled around, though, it was more of the same. After going to a back four and adding an attacker instead of his usual 5-4-1 formation, Pinto reverted to the heavily defensive alignment. For the first half in Australia it worked, but it fell apart in the second 45 minutes. Once the team was behind, Pinto was slow to react. Instead of bringing on an attacker immediately after Mile Jadinok's deflected free kick put the home side ahead, Pinto waited a full 20 minutes before inserting Mario Martinez. By that time Jadinok already had converted from the penalty spot on the way to a hat-trick. Honduras knew going into the game that a goal would be required to go to the World Cup. Instead of looking for that goal, Pinto sat back and seemed to have been playing for penalties despite Australia playing at home and being fresher after the first leg. Pinto will point to the disadvantages his team faced. Honduras always was going to have tired legs after its long journey to Sydney via Los Angeles. Luxuries the Australian FA could afford, like a direct charter flight from San Pedro Sula after the first leg, anti-jet lag glasses, a stopover for stretching and massage, and lay-flat seats were just that for Honduras, luxuries on which the FA couldn't splurge. As much as the federation didn't put the Honduran players in a position to succeed, though, the coach didn't either. Article continues below. It's time for Honduras to reset. Since Los Catrachos' first World Cup berth in 2010, this has been a team that relied on its defense through the thick and thin. That made sense when pillars like Osman Chavez, Victor Bernardes and Maynor Figueroa were the biggest stars. Now, there's a new generation. Ramon Guayoto, Alberth and Andy Nayar, the Anderlecht midfielder who missed the playoff but whose participation with the national team is crucial once he returns to full fitness, are the new generation. These are attacking players who have to have a chance to excel. Pinto didn't provide that for his team this time around. He won't be retained by Honduras, with his high salary relative to other coaches in the region, prickly personality and, most significantly, Wednesday's failure. The next man up needs to take advantage of the resources he does have in a promising batch of young players like Quito and Elis and the domestic-based players who were able to lift the Copa Centroamericana at the beginning of the year. Doing so will ensure Honduras is moving forward, not sliding back, in its quest to punch above its weight and continue to be relevant on the world stage. Going away from the conservative style that has characterized it for so long may result in some difficult lessons in the short term, but in the long run would take it to new